Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and if you're new here, welcome. In today's video, I am doing another sketchbook tour. So this one did not take me very long to complete, and I feel like it didn't take me that long because there wasn't a lot of pages in this one, but I did draw this sticker and it's on my Redbubble shop, but all these other ones I did not, but I did get off of Redbubble. And this is the Ohuhu alcohol marker sketchbook. I do like this sketchbook. I just wish there was more pages, which I know they have more options with more pages, but I wanted to test this one out first before I got one with a lot more pages to see if I liked it. So this first page, I did a self-portrait. I kind of do that on all my sketchbooks now because I started doing that, I think, on the 4th or 5th sketchbook. So I just wanted to keep that momentum going. And I do have a video on doing this first page, but yes, I did finish that. Took me about 5 to 6 months to complete this sketchbook, and here is all the goals that I had. I did not practice more backgrounds, but I did draw more portraits. I did use lots of mediums, did do a lot of still life and realism because that is my favorite thing to do right now. I don't know that I tried different art styles. I don't remember if I did any drawing challenges. I didn't do any DIYs in this sketchbook. Like I said, it wasn't a big sketchbook, so I couldn't really do as many things as I wanted to. And I'm not sure that I'm a fan of this size of sketchbook. I prefer it to be rectangle over square. And I did sketch a lot in this sketchbook. And the last page I did make a mess, but other than that I didn't. And I didn't get the chance to use a new art supply because I didn't buy any art supplies in the 5 months that I completed this sketchbook. But I did get this fortune cookie, and I felt like it was perfect for the very first page in this sketchbook. And it says, "Do not give up. The beginning is always the hardest." And I feel like that relates to any artist because it's always so hard to fill the first page in a sketchbook. And I honestly will fill other pages and then go back and fill the first page, which is why this was in August, but I started this on the 6th. Okay, so there's the pencil drawing. I do have a video on that. This was technically my first drawing in this sketchbook. Of course, I had to use my Ohuhu markers on the first drawing because it is an Ohuhu alcohol marker sketchbook. So I drew an orange. I do love drawing fruit, so that was a lot of fun. Here's where I use my RTX acrylic markers. I wasn't a huge fan of this or this, but there's some pages in here that I'm not going to be a fan of, but there's a lot more that I was a fan of. So I did that. You're going to see a lot in my sketchbooks. I like to block out a background, especially when you could see bleed through on the other side. I try to cover that up as much as possible. And I was going to color this one and make it into a finished piece, but because I wasn't happy with the face proportions or how small the hands were compared to the body, I just never finished it. Here is when I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. I really liked the soundtrack of that show, and I was surprised because I thought, oh, there's no way that I'm gonna like this movie. But it was actually pretty good, and I thought this little tiger was so cute, so I had to draw it. Hand studies, and of course I colored them in because why not? I love drawing hands, so you'll see that a lot as well. Some sketches on this side. I am not too sad that this sketch got covered up because I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I love how this sketch turned out. I'm not good at drawing side profiles, and this one turned out so good. And then I did do a video on this. I just used ink only and tried to do a lot of textures on this dog face, and I love how it turned out. Sometimes just simple black and white can do so much. So I was planning on doing a video on this and coloring it in with my alcohol markers, And I normally like to have it sketched out before I do the video, but I never ended up doing that, and I just never wanted to go back and color it. So there's one of my sketches that I didn't finish. You'll notice that a lot. Here is a portrait I tried to draw. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely better than the other one that I had in here. So I am already drawing more faces than I have in the last couple sketchbooks, so that's really good. I love how this picture turned out, and it honestly did not take me that long to do. I just started laying down colors with my RTX acrylic markers, and that's how I made that. And then I outlined it with like a black pen. I really tried to simplify everything, and I like the way it ended up turning out because you can still see the feathering. This page has been a favorite on my Pinterest because I do post my stuff on Pinterest. Everybody loves it, and I don't understand why, because it's another one that I just quickly sketched it out and quickly laid down color, and it didn't take me that long. But I do enjoy the colors, and I kind of like the stars and everything in the background. And here's another sketch of a crow that I didn't end up finishing. A lot of these I will draw and I'll like the way the outline will turn out, but I don't actually feel like finishing it, so I just leave it. I think this has to be like one of my favorite pages in this sketchbook. And here's where I start to draw realism, but I sketched everything out in a pink colored pencil, and I think I have a video on this actually. And then I went in with a base layer of alcohol markers and then my colored pencils on top of that, and then the white gel pen, and I just think it looks really, really good, and I was extremely happy with how it turned out because it actually looks like a Coke can. Here's some more realism. When I was doing realism, I just kind of got into a habit of wanting to do more. So this was for my 24th birthday. I had a lot of fun doing this. It did take forever just because there's so many different colors in this. But again, I did a base layer with alcohol markers, and then I went in with the colored pencils. This is the lyrics from Kiss from a Rose, just because I was listening to it at the time. And I had just drawn the lips and that was it, but I felt like the background needed something, so I just added the lyrics for that. And then for once, I actually put all the colors that I used down here. So here's where I actually started numbering the portraits because I wanted to see how many I could draw in the sketchbook, kind of as like a 100 heads challenge. Obviously, I didn't get to 100, but I did attempt to draw a lot more than I normally do, and I love how he turned out. I love, love, love it. I am super happy with the nose, and normally I'm not, but she didn't turn out too bad. She doesn't look too bad. He's could be better, but I really enjoy how these faces actually look because I feel like I captured likeness of the people and the references I was using a lot more, but I do regress and kind of do it more in my style, but then get better. So there's a lot of back and forth in this sketchbook. Another one that I just did in pen, not really a huge fan of him. RTX acrylic markers. Again, I just do a quick sketch and then I just lay down some colors real quickly. Again, RTX colored or alcohol marker. I can't talk. RTX acrylic markers, and then I went in with a navy blue colored pencil for all the details in the face. This one, I did alcohol markers and then colored pencil on top. Normally, my finished pieces are always a layer of alcohol markers and then colored pencil. This one was, again, alcohol markers and colored pencil, and I really like the texture in this piece, like especially on the grapes from the colored pencil. I really enjoy how that texture looks. And I like all the colors together, and I think the apple texture looks really nice too. I got some pins for my birthday, so I tested them out in here, and the brand was Mr. Pin, so they gave me a sticker with that, and I just stuck it on there. Here's some more faces. That's supposed to be Sam Winchester, but kind of looks like him, kind of not. I'm really trying to get likeness, but as you can see, I regressed in some of these portraits. Acrylic markers, it wasn't really summertime, but I really enjoyed the color scheme of this, so I drew that. And then it was finally starting to get cold outside in October, so I drew an autumn spread. And I actually did post this on my Instagram. I'm trying to think. The last time I did a video was this one. So it's been a while since I had done a YouTube video. I just kind of been enjoying sketching and not really focusing on all the pressure that I have when I am recording. Here's some more poses. I wasn't really worried about drawing faces because if I was going to practice drawing faces, I would do just the face. So I'm not trying to do a whole bunch of different things. I was more so practicing on the poses and the clothes. I really like how that hand turned out. And the simplified hair looked really good on this page. I do have a video on this drawing. I was really feeling the fall colors of the reference that I picked out, and so I wanted to draw these pairs, and I think I originally did like a green background, but I went back in with this darker red and it looks so much better. But I like the texture on this one too. It's another one where I went in with alcohol markers and then finished it off with colored pencil and my white gel pen. Acrylic markers, I was just trying to put down color. I wasn't really trying to make a finished piece. As you can tell by the trees, it looks a little bit off. I just wanted to have a lot of color in this piece, which I'm not super happy with how that turned out. But more hands. It's been a while since I drew hands, so I decided to go crazy and draw a couple of them. I don't like the fingers on this one. This side's not bad, but I do like how this is kind of purple and this is kind of pinkish. I love how these hands turned out and the shadows with that, how I did it with the colored pencil, so I didn't want to ruin it by coloring it. I just left it how it was. And this one was really cool too. I do a lot of hands with stars in this sketchbook just because I enjoy it. And adding texture with like the smaller lines is one of my favorite things to do. So here's the 9th portrait. I'm sure everybody knows what sketch I did or what reference I used for this sketch because he's pretty popular. And this one is another YouTube video that I actually did. So I didn't do very many YouTube videos in this sketchbook, but this one was Pinterest just decides what I draw. So I searched up people, food, flower, animal, object, and then doodle, and then I did that. I hate how the person turned out, but I love how the flower and the food and the animal turned out. This one didn't turn out bad, but it was not fun to draw at all, and I don't know why. Also, you can kind of see that there's perforated edges in this sketchbook. I never ended up actually ripping something out, but it is nice to have that option in case you wanted to. I went back and looked in my 5th sketchbook, and I saw the dessert that I drew in there. So it kind of inspired me to do this one. And I love drawing strawberries, so of course it had to be strawberry themed. So here's me getting back into portraits again. His face is weird. Hers is too wide, but I did end up liking how hers turned out, which is why I outlined it in blue pen. And I didn't really feel like drawing another one, so there's just a blank area right there. Another hand just done with graphite because I didn't feel like doing anything else. I really like the way that turned out. I love drawing hands, and I don't know why a lot of artists struggle to draw them. They can be difficult, but if you simplify the shapes, I feel like you can get the point across of a hand. But they're just one of my favorite things to draw. And then I drew some tomatoes because I loved the coloring in them, because there was like a red and orange one, and then it was all of a sudden greenish yellow ones, so I drew those. And I feel like I always draw tomatoes in my sketchbook, so. This one, I think I will complete later on once I open up my new Ohuhu markers, because I really like how the sketch turned out, but I think it would look really, really good with color. So stay tuned for that video. I'll probably have that one out next, or eventually. Did another portrait. This girl had really colorful earrings, so I felt like drawing that. This is where I got into drawing just a lot with my colored pencils, or one color pencil, and not doing anything else, just refining it with the colored pencil. I do have a video on this. I did it with my acrylic markers, and it was a lot of fun because I normally don't do this crazy of colors with my drawings and things. But I did enjoy how this turned out, and I like how the pink looks with the blue. And this was just for a draw and chat with me. I think I posted that last week, so, or the week after, something like that. But I really enjoyed how that turned out. And this, I've been wanting to sketch this piece for so long, but I knew it would take me a while, so I've been putting it off, but I finally decided to do it. And I liked how the sketch looked so much that I didn't want to mess it up by putting any color on it. So I just left it in that orange colored pencil. This one, I found a reference off of Pinterest and drew that in regular pencil, and I felt like the background was lacking. So I got a pink highlighter and just did weird shapes highlighting the back of that. I actually did like how this portrait turned out for once. And then I drew a chicken, you know, just because I like to draw animals and food, so I drew a chicken. And I didn't color it in, because again, after I get done sketching, I feel a little bit burnt out, so then I end up leaving it, and then it never gets colored in. So that's how that works. And this page you saw last week. It is the last page in this sketchbook. So you see, when I said this sketchbook didn't have a lot of pages, it didn't have a lot of pages. It's like that thick. So I was able to finish it really quickly, but the back, I do have some things in this pocket. I like to save all my thank yous that I get from stores that I buy from. So I ended up buying a lifting belt and some knee sleeves from them, because I do enjoy, oh my gosh, I can't get this out. I do enjoy lifting at the gym, and my knees are really bad, so here's that. This pocket's actually pretty big, but again, I always save the front part of the sketchbook so I know what sketchbook this is in case I wanted to reorder it. There's that. And then this is a thank you card from the knee sleeves. This was my Mr. Pen thank you card. And I really enjoyed how this card looked, all the flowers and stuff. I think this was from my phone case that I got, because I ended up having to get a new phone because my other one was kicking me out of all my apps, and it wasn't working, and the battery was draining really quickly. So I got a new phone and a new phone case. But I just really enjoyed how that card looked. And this sketchbook does come with a bookmark, so, and I didn't actually rip it out like I did on my Illo one on accident. But that's okay. So that is my finished sketchbook 6. I will probably be working in the new one pretty soon. I want to start doing more drawings in the mixed media Illo sketchbook that I got before I open up the new one, but we've all heard me say stuff before and not actually follow through with that. So we'll see. We'll see how long I can last of not opening that new sketchbook.